on Election Day, when Obama was elected president in one of the Philadelphia polling places, you had two members of the new Black Panther Party dressed in their paramilitary uniform, and one of them had a deadly weapon, a billy club, in their arms. And the two of them stood in front of the doors. They acted in concert, and they yelled racial epithets at the poll watchers who were there to protect the voters, and they also intimidated potential voters. The Civil Rights Commission has since had 3 hearings on this matter, and the eyewitnesses who were there on the day of the election testified that voters couldn't enter the door without passing virtually a baton swing away, and 2 of them testified they saw voters leave the polls. Media Matters and some other liberal news organizations incorrectly report that voters were not intimidated. But the law also prohibits intimidating poll watchers, and we have other testimony that poll watchers were yelled at, racial epithets, and we know that if, for example, there were neo-Nazis at any poll in America, or Ku Klux Klan in their Klan regalia, and any of them had a billy club, or even if they didn't have a billy club, if they were yelling racial epithets and standing in front of the doors, we know they would be prosecuted, they should be prosecuted. And so, at the waning days of the Bush administration, a suit was filed against the gentleman who engaged in voter intimidation, the chairman of the party who endorsed their action, and the new Black Panther Party itself. And they didn't answer. The case was caught on video. The judge asked the department to file for a default judgment with an injunction. And it was at that point that the new Obama administration officials had them stop. First asked the judge for extra time, and then ultimately to dismiss most of the suit against 3 of the defendants, and to narrow the injunction to a laughable injunction against the thug with the billy club. And for example, now under law, he's not allowed to carry a billy club within the city of Philadelphia until 2012 on Election Day. Now, under the injunction, there's nothing that would prohibit him from going back and just threatening voters with his fists. There's nothing that would prevent him from taking his billy club to the suburbs of Philadelphia. There's nothing to threaten him and a bunch of other thugs from doing the same thing. There's nothing that prevents that organization, which has been called a hate group, a racial hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center and others, from doing the same thing. These same 2 gentlemen that were at the poll were caught on a National Geographic documentary asking black folk to kill white babies.
King Samir Shabazz is the new Black Panther Party's Philadelphia leader. This new Panther version of Black Power does not include white participation.
I hate white people. All of them. Every last iota of a cracker, I hate him. We didn't come out here to play today. There's too much serious business going on in the black community to be out here sliding through South Street with white, dirty, cracker whore on our arm, and we call ourselves black men with African garb on. What the hell is wrong with you, black man? You had a doom day with a white girl on your damn arm. You want freedom? You're gonna have to kill some crackers. You're gonna have to kill some of their babies.
These are people who clearly have malice and clearly are unhinged and need to have been, justice needs to have been done to them. We don't know at this point whether the White House ordered the suit to be dismissed, or who in the White House may have known about this. Was this just the Justice Department acting unlawfully? Is this just Holder continuing to act unlawfully to thwart, obstruct justice in this suit? We've asked, by the way, Attorney General Holder numerous times to appoint a special counsel to allow us to go to federal court if he thinks that he's right to keep this evidence from us. And he's refused to do even that. He's essentially refused to allow us to go to court or refused to give us the information we need. But finally, one brave soul, Christian Adams, resigned after the Assistant Attorney General gave misleading and, I believe, inaccurate, and he believes inaccurate testimony before the Commission on May 14. And he resigned, gave his letter of resignation on that same day. He left the Justice Department a few weeks later, and last Tuesday, June the 6th, he gave riveting testimony before the Civil Rights Commission. My fellow Commissioner Pete Kirsonell has said it's the most dramatic testimony he's heard in 8 years on the Commission, and what he told us was of a culture of hostility by many of the lawyers and others in the division against enforcing the civil rights laws against blacks or other national minorities. There were many who did not want an even enforcement of the civil rights laws. They harassed minorities who worked on such cases as race traitors. And he told us one final dramatic point. He said that the Assistant Attorney General's deputy, Julie Fernandes, and she is a deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Obama administration, instructed the chief of the voting section that they will never bring another lawsuit against a black or other national minority. Apparently, no matter what they do, in her view, they will never bring another suit against them. And she said she didn't care if the U.S. attorneys did it, she couldn't control them. But in the Obama Civil Rights Division, no such suit would be filed. And that is a direct contradiction to what the Assistant Attorney General testified before our commission on May 14. And so we are going to subpoena Julie Fernandes, and we are going to subpoena these other officials. And I certainly hope that the Attorney General stops stonewalling and stops acting unlawfully and allows us to interview these people to get at the truth. But if they don't, I think there will be a greater price to pay for this administration. The cover-up is usually worse than the original offense. I wish when we began our investigation, I wish they just admitted they made a mistake and refiled the lawsuit. I think they can refile the lawsuit today. But at least they should admit their mistake, admit that it was wrong to dismiss the suit, let us interview the people, and let us write our report, which is our duty at the Civil Rights Commission. And then Congress and the President can hopefully do the right thing and prevent caustic problem that the American people will have if they believe that the Justice Department doesn't provide equal justice under law.